I've recorded thousands of closes, my wins and my losses. Here's what the losses taught me. I've recorded thousands of closes, and I'll tell you what, I've learned the most from my losses. I'm going to give you the 5 buyer breakdowns on the people that I lost, and I'm going to go right through these things to show you exactly how some you might lose and then how you can improve and get better. There's going to be personality types that you might have a real struggle on closing, and if you can analyze your losses, you can get infinitely better. That's how I've improved over and over and over again, by reviewing my wins and my losses, dissecting them, figure out what I did wrong, what was my customer's personality, what programs did they have running underneath this, and why didn't they make a decision to go with me. Most reps don't study their losses. They chalk it up, they blame the customer. Oh, the customer was this, or the customer was this, or blah, blah, blah. And believe me, I've been guilty of that. But here's the thing, if you just count them as the customer being a particular way and not try and figure out, like, why couldn't I help these people? Like, what about this situation could I not help these people? Now, asking yourself a question like that will get you more resourceful, and you'll figure out a way to help these people make a decision to go with you. And what I see so often is everybody wants to discount why they didn't close these people. It's a very common thing. There's really 4 types of losses. One is the logical buyer. It doesn't matter what your product is. Here's the thing, it doesn't matter what your product is, because there's gonna have these people buy emotionally and they justify logically every single time. I don't care what the product is, I don't care what you're selling. People wanna feel good emotionally about this. They wanna feel certainty, they wanna feel control, they wanna feel freedom about buying your product. It has to give them one of those desired effects. And there's a lot of times out there, like your engineer type, spreadsheets, graphs, and maps guys, it's hard to reach them emotionally because they're so closed off and all they want to do is study the data. So sometimes if you're talking to these people, the one thing I found out is that they are emotional buyers. And so if you just speak logic to them, what do they say at the end? Can you send me this? This is something I'm gonna have to do my research on. Please send me can you send me the data on this so that I can go and figure this out myself? Now, there's an underlying program, and in my training program, I talk about these underlying programs. Once you understand the programs, you speak right to the program and you give them exactly what they want while getting what you want as well. The logical buyer, though, is usually going to be the person that says at the end, I need to research this, I need to think about this, I need to be able to run this through my spreadsheets, graphs, and maps, I need to do the research, I don't trust you, I only trust my own opinion, and right now, I don't have enough information to make this decision. They make this decision logically, but you've got to reach them emotionally. So how do you do that on a logical buyer? You have to find those emotional points that they have. They will have emotional points. And one of the greatest things I learned, and you're gonna get this in a further training, is exactly how to sell that logical buyer. The second one is the missed decision maker. Maybe you're sitting down with some prospects, you're sitting down with one spouse. By the way, I never recommend sitting with one spouse, especially if it's a bigger decision, because a lot of times what are they gonna say? I need to talk to my spouse. So whenever you can, get the additional spouse there. By the way, too, if you're with these people, and I need to talk to my spouse, there's ways that you can overcome that. But sometimes these people will die on a hill about talking to their spouse. They really feel they need to talk to their spouse. And if they really feel they need to talk to their spouse, they can't make a decision without the spouse. They're not gonna make a decision with you. So it's best in any situation or any case like this, get both spouses present. Present to both. One person's gonna have other questions, the other person's gonna have other questions, and so it's a very important part of the equation. Now, if you're selling something that's low ticket, a lot of times you can just sell a single spouse without selling both of them. But if you're selling something high ticket, that's $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 or more, you need both spouses probably on board. Here's the other thing, is you'll pre-frame these people. Like maybe they're like, maybe you sit with one spouse and the other spouse can't be there for whatever reason. You can pre-frame them. Hey, I'm going to present all the facts, figures, and numbers today. Are you going to be in a position to make this decision, or are you going to need your other spouse to make this decision? At that point, they're going to tell you, no, I make the decision. Or they're going to tell you, and now if they say, I make the decision, that's a tie down. Oh, so you make the decision. So it's a yes or no at the end. Is that okay with you? Yes, that's okay. And then at the end, you can use that if they're saying, I need to talk to my spouse. But here's the thing, it's imperative that you get both spouses on board. I lost a lot of deals because I didn't sit with the other spouse, and I knew this going into it. Like, well, I'm already here, I might as well do it. And you might piss off a lot of spouses if you're like, well, listen, I'd like to reschedule this when the other spouse is going to be around. You might piss off some people, but listen, you didn't have that deal anyways. Do you want to go waste your time, or do you want to get both spouses present where you have a fighting chance? both spouses present to have a fighting chance is the best bet on you. So the other one is the no pain close. Listen, if you're selling a product and someone agreed to meet with you, or you knocked the door and someone's selling the product, right? Or you're selling your product and the customer really has no pain. Like, let's just go solar for an example. So maybe they've got a really low bill. They're not really, maybe they're on like an equalizer where it's the same bill a month in, a month out. They got no pain. They're not really fearful about the future. They're not fearful about not having energy. They're not fearful about any of these other things. Those people are going to be very challenging to get through, because here's the idea with sales is first you get good at selling the problem and then you come in with the solution. The best salespeople, me included, I always sell the problem. I'm really good at selling the problem. I want to get people emotionally attached to the problem so that I can come in with the solution and be able to make everything better, or come in with something that's going to be reasonable because they're upset at the utility company, they're upset at this, they don't want to throw away more money, they want to be in a better position. Also with alarm systems as well. Like, dude, there was a recent break-in in the neighborhood, these people are freaking out. Dude, they don't want to get broken into, they want to protect their family, they want to protect their resources, and these people always are going to have a lot of pain. Now, maybe you're in one of those neighborhoods where there's never been a break-in, ever. Never in the history of that neighborhood. They've never even heard of anybody that got broken into. They might agree to listen to you talk, but until you can bring pain to that situation, you're not going to get these people, you're not going to move the needle with those people. And the fourth one is the integrity walk. So maybe your product, like, depending on your product, if it's solar, listen, there are people that aren't going to be qualified. What I mean by that, maybe they're old, maybe they're 80s or something. I personally don't like selling older people. I want them to fully understand, and a lot of times older people have to have a secondary decision maker, whether it's a kid, especially if it's a widow. They always have a kid that's helping them make decisions. So you'd want the kid there at that point. But sometimes, I'm not saying all old people are not good candidates for solar. There are good older people that are good candidates for solar or whatever the product. But there are going to be those people that you're pitching your product to, or you're presenting your product to, and they're just not a good candidate. This is called the integrity walk. I will walk away from deals specifically if it doesn't meet their needs, if I can't see how it will fit in to making their life better. Or you're like, Luke, you should have wholehearted determination and certainty about your product working for everybody. Yes, I probably should, and I do for the most part, but there's going to be those other people. Let's break this down to solar. They're $100 average. What am I going to do with that? Oh, your bill's $50 more per month, like, and you're older, and you're in your 70s, like, how long are you going to enjoy the benefits? How long does it take for the utility bill to catch up to where your current utility, to where the solar bill would be? Just walk. It's a win for you. The ability to walk away from these people with integrity is life-changing. And by the way, I've walked away from a lot of deals that I just didn't feel it was a good fit. And by the way, if you don't feel it's a good fit, good luck having the certainty to give the customer about your product. Because if you're not convinced it's good for them, I don't think you're going to be able to persuade them that it's good for them if you don't believe and you don't have certainty. Here's the other thing. Studying your losses, greatest advantage ever. Usually, most humans, including myself, I learn best from my challenges. I learn best from my losses. I learn best from my bad feedback. Bad feedback is not getting my product, not helping my customer out. I learn best because those are a little bit more painful. And so I'm going to bring up some of the higher intense emotions. And so, like, not just discounting this, oh, they didn't buy because this, but really truly trying to figure out, well, what did I do wrong? How could I have pushed the needle a little bit further? How could I have gotten a little bit closer? Was there anything I could have done to get these customers to make a decision to do my product, to buy my product? Was there anything I could have done? Anything? And now if there was, then they're like, okay, well, next time I'm going to be able to leverage and use this. Next time, I'm glad I found this out, so I can use this. By the way, inside of my training program, like, here's the idea. I just broke down 4 buyers, right? And inside of those 4 buyers, they all have programs. Everybody has programs running below the surface. These are called unconscious programs. People have unconscious programs running below the surface. Now, here's the thing. If you can identify what their unconscious program is, then you can communicate to them how they're comfortable communicating. Now, being able to do that, you can easily and effortlessly be able to help these people because you know how they're comfortable communicating. You know what programs that are running beneath the surface. Not the surface level stuff with the surface level objections, but truly the things that they value. Some of their identities are going to be tied to some of these programs, right? And so it's about understanding these programs. Inside of my training, I dissect these so that you can easily and effortlessly transition these people to making a good decision. By the way, by communicating the way that they're comfortable communicating. I love you guys. I look forward to meeting and connecting with you guys. Follow the link down below to get more information.